Hey everybody, Ben here from DMC Films and Cinderblock Studios, and welcome back to the Principles of Design, Part 6. Today we're looking at proportion. Now when we're talking about the principles of design, a lot of them are focused a lot on composition, while proportion is actually focused a lot on the individual elements in the piece. This is why many artists and art instructors will teach proportion as if it was one of the elements of design. Now when we look at proportion, a lot of times people's first thought is, oh, proportion, figures. Proportion and figures, well, they do go hand in hand. Proportion is not exclusive just to the human figure. On the anatomy side, proportion covers the size and, how big, how small the shapes are on a given individual shape or individual form. However, it also covers the amount and size of any given object in a 2D picture plane. Proportion is also distinctly relative to the other objects in a scene. For example, if there was a tree next to me, you would say, okay, that tree is way too small to be next to you. It would be much bigger than that. That is also proportion. So you might think, okay, why exactly is proportion really that important? Maybe you're not good at it. You're like, okay, maybe I just don't even have to worry about proportion. Well, improper proportions or distorted proportions can really completely distract from the actual meaning in an individual scene. And while the emphasis on proportion will create a level of realism, there is a level of de-emphasizing proportion to create a unique and interesting style. A good example of how distorted proportion can create style would be Picasso's The Young Ladies of Avignon. Now this particular piece is really great because it's both really distorted, but the meaning isn't lost. So he's really understood the difference between distorting proportion and just totally not doing it at all. Remember that in order to distort something and to de-emphasize something, you first should really know what it looks like in the first place. What makes Picasso's work so interesting is that while things are distorted, they're not out of balance, they're not out of sync. There is unity in that piece by arranging them in such a way that is, while distorted and totally unbelievable, for some reason it's still kind of believable. However, on the side of realism, you want to look at really any of the Renaissance painters, specifically Michelangelo's David, which isn't a painting, it's a sculpture. But we're talking like that is like nearly perfect proportions on everything. I mean, if you look at the entirety of art history, he pretty much freaking nailed it. So while proportion creates unity and balance in your individual composition, remember that it's not exclusive just to the human figure. For landscape painters like myself, proportions are really important for understanding atmospheric and various points of single to 3-point perspective. Remember, as we continue on through our journey of the principles of design, if you ever get lost along the way, feel free to check the link in the description box below for the Elements and Principles of Design playlist, where you can watch this series in its entirety. And as always, for more tips, tutorials, and other art videos, subscribe to the channel. This has Ben from DMC Films and Cinderblock Studios. See you guys next time.